Hello, hello. How are you? We're going to get started in just a minute. Last night, I came on here and I put up, hey, Camel's World. Hopefully, I'm going to have a conversation tonight that, like, you can chime in on. But let's see, Um, Last night, I presented a question. What is the difference between telling the truth and criticizing somebody? And I wasn't looking for like the literal definition, but when you hear somebody say that to you, what if you criticizing somebody but you telling the truth while you doing it? What's the difference in criticizing somebody and telling the truth? So of course I had and let me say how I even came about this, right? So throughout the day I'd be flicking through different we all be, I'm pretty sure we all be, oh yeah, if you hang out on YouTube, you strolling through, you flicking through and finding different things that you see throughout the day. And so I seen this one video and it was called 6 Habits You Must Quit to Hear God's Voice Clearly. Um and I say let me click on that and see what it's talking about. I think the first 3 minutes or so, like it ain't say nothing to me, but it's almost soon as it got to the part where it was like I can tell it got to the 4 minute 6 second mark, and oh my gosh, you ever heard something and then like it's like it's just poking you or something. You don't quite know what it is, but like it's poking you like, hey, I'm talking to you. It was kind of like that, and I was like, "But why me? Like, who am I? Who am I criticizing?" So ever since then, like, I just couldn't get it out of my head. Thinking about it, criticizing may come with blame or judgment. Hmm. True. Hey, Larry. Um. Yeah. So when I got to it, I'm gonna tell you at the 4 minute mark when he started talking about that, because he said 6 things. Um, if you want to be able to hear God's voice more clearly, he was naming 6 things. Well, he only got to number 3, and when he got to number 3, it was like that was the part that was for me, and then I got off of there. But I'm like, I'm going down and going down, and I was like, who am I criticizing? I'm doing fine today, Larry. How about yourself? Um, so I started looking through it, and I thought it was about one thing, but then as I start to search into it, there's a lot more to it um, than I thought. And most of all, I was thinking about me criticizing somebody else, and then I wanted to know, well, Shauna, how do you criticize people? And I started to think about certain situations that I've been in. So Um, and one of them I said that I would talk about because I've already talked about it here on YouTube before. A lot of people know about the situation that I went through with somebody that was telling a lot of lies on me or whatever, right? In the beginning, it's like you have a lot of you give a lot of grace or whatever, and you let stuff slide or whatever. And there is I feel like for me there is a difference between telling the truth and criticizing, and I'm gonna tell a little bit of this so I can say at what point of it that it turned from telling the truth to criticizing. So at one point the liar would say, well, Shauna said this or Shauna said that. No, Shauna didn't say that. I said X, Y, and Z. Right? But then after that went on for so long, this is where it turns from just me telling the truth to now criticizing. Cause then when she say, "Hey, hey, Traquel," and here we go. We got you know, some idiot already done came through. But anyways, we gonna carry on. Okay, so this where it is that I'm saying that I go wrong, right? How you doing tonight, Traquel? Once I've went down that line for so long, and I'm still trying to defend myself against the liar, it's no longer me just defending and saying, no, that's not what I said. I said this right here. When it keeps going on for so long, it eventually for me turns into, okay, then what about this the same thing they doing when they did X, Y, and Z to this person right here. She told a lie about this over here. She told a lie about that over there. And then she told a lie about this. And then what about when she did this right here? And what about she did like that? Now it's done turned from me telling the truth about whatever it is in front of me that I'm saying, um, basically defending or whatever. And now I'm criticizing that person. So in that aspect, I do understand. Yes, you do. Yes, you do criticize people. But when it was first said to me, I kind of looked at it as if like, you just go up to people and start criticizing them. And I know I don't do that, but I definitely know that my conversation can turn into criticizing somebody. And so that was a good one for me. Also, another one, I went and looked, I actually eventually went and looked up the definition, and then some people in the up under the video answered the question that actually helped me get a better understanding of what was being said, because when your conversation turns, you whatever you're talking about towards a person, it starts to turn negative. And so at that point then I knew, uh yeah, I done had some situations like that before, and definitely with this whole lying situation, the conversation turned negative. Another example of criticism also, and I think all of us do this too. When we think about criticizing, and it's like in the conversation or in like the text that I found it in, we don't ever think about that we criticize ourselves. And criticizing myself um is, we most of us, we are our biggest critics. Anyways, another thing is say if I gave somebody a warning or something, and which is, nobody don't have to believe me, which I ain't forcing anybody to believe me. But if I warn somebody something, or say like even if you warn one of your kids, that they get into they get you see them going into a situation, and then you tell them about what could happen if they decide to go down this line that they going down, right? And then they go ahead and do it again. They go ahead and do it anyways, right? If they go ahead and make the mistake anyways after you've warned them to do it, criticism is still the same thing as like, okay, now you say to your kid that I told you not to do that. And you went ahead and you so say like you already done told your kid, but then later on you and your husband or something talking about it. You was like that, you be like, they so hard headed, you done told them this, you done told them that, and now they here in this situation right here, and then they want somebody to save them from this situation right here, X, Y, and Z. That's still another form of criticism. So I don't know. Maybe somebody want to share like another form of like criticism. So like maybe we all can like learn something from that situation. Do I think it's something like you can stop doing overnight or no nothing? No, I don't think you can just do it overnight. I think it's something that you become aware of it. So then that if you're having conversations and stuff, um you pay more attention to, okay, this is turning into criticism. It's no longer a conversation. And I feel like at right now in where I am with it right now, because I'm just like, not that I ain't been aware of it that I do it, it ain't have no name on it that sounded harsh or whatever. And so now it's like out there in the open. It's like once it's out there and like you done heard it, it's something that you will be working on from that point forward. So it's like as soon as your conversation goes, and it's like in a negative form, and like I can give you another one, like you going at it with somebody and you ain't necessarily like going off on them or anything, but you telling them a truth about something. And soon as like say like they say something back smart or whatever, and then you start bringing up the stuff that they used to, and it's no longer coming off as a loving situation. It is now negative, and you criticizing them in a you're saying it to them in a negative way. That's bad criticism. And two, I like, a part of me is like, well, how can you tell somebody the truth without criticizing them? So I just took it and said, you have to take the negativity out of it. I think it's the negativity that makes it um gamma. Absolutely. You per in your marriage, you can absolutely be you can absolutely criticize um in your marriage. When I go now, that was one. Gary, it's so funny that you said that one, because right now me and my husband is we separated right now. But that as soon as I got it, that was one of the things that I went back over and said, do I criticize my husband like that? And that's the one thing that I can actually go back and say, I've never been like critical of him. In these past couple of months that we have been separated, yes, I've said some things to him, like to remind him of some things. And I did it because he did it to me. And so, but have I practiced that over the 20 years? And I can say that I didn't practice that over the 20 plus years we've been together, because I keep telling y'all, if he only knew what he had, like the girl was the one on Coming to America, jumping up and down on one foot, barking like a dog. But so I didn't do a lot of criticizing him. So, but that is very true. I think people can criticize a lot in a marriage. And then you're living in the house with who you feel is your attacker. Yeah. So, Let me see what the definition that I pulled up. And the definition that I had pulled up on Google was not a good let me know if anybody else get another definition besides this one what I got. It says criticize, indicate the faults of someone or something in a disapproving way. That's still like the so I guess you can tell somebody about themselves. It just can't be the negativity is what turns it into um criticism. But okay, what if you telling your kids about something and they still go and do it, and even though you told them that it gonna turn out this way, how then do you how do you hold your kids accountable? Because wouldn't that still be like a form of criticism? Um, if you don't talk to them about, I guess again, now that I'm saying, even letting that come out of my mouth, it still can't be in a negative way. The negativity, I'm guessing, is what makes criticism criticism. Yeah. Now, Gamma, on the other hand, do I feel like I've been criticized throughout my marriage? Absolutely. I absolutely feel like that. Just feeling it, hearing it, and I ain't talking about like in no, look at you stupid and stuff like that. I ain't talking about that kind of way. Cause somebody can make a if when you're in a marriage, when you get to a certain point, you know what the size, like, mm-hmm, here we go again. What all of those different. You start to know and understand what all of those things mean. So that can also be like a form of criticism when in a marriage in a whole bunch of different ways, you know what I'm saying? So um I just know in this situation right here, I have definitely pulled up some things about myself, and not only do I criticize others, I criticize myself. In my nurturing program classes I facilitate, we teach that you start by saying how their actions are making you feel. Hmm. Okay, Gamma, where you got these classes? Oh girl. Why ain't nobody that? In my nurturing program class I facilitate, we teach that you start by saying how their actions are making you feel. And okay, in that situation, if they get into that and then you're telling them how your actions make you feel, and they still expecting you to fix, um this thing got me this it just got me really thinking, like, in a whole bunch of ways. And all of it, I think it just sums up to when you bring negativity in there with it, and then you just start to dig and dig and dig. Because I know there's a lot of times where you tell your kids something or whatever, um and when you telling them something and it's like they didn't hear you, especially when you done said it to them 1,000 times over, and it end up working out bad for them, it's hard not to criticize them because you said it to them 100 times already. Then that way, that gives you the authority to own your feelings, and also give your partner the information and allows them to decide to make the change or not for the love they have for you. Yeah. Yeah, it does have it got so many directions like it can go into. And the one thing that I keep going back, because you see I'll start a sentence and then I'll start to think of it, And I'm thinking, absolutely, when it turns into criticism, is then when the negativity comes in. But how many of us as parents, um, friends, or whatever, you're telling somebody about a situation, especially they coming in and they keep talking to you about it, and you tell them about it over and over again, and now you done told them, and then after they still go and do that same thing, and now they back to you, they're back in front of you again with the same old thing, and they done repeated the same thing over and over again. It's hard not to bring up the criticism because and I don't know, I still wouldn't, some of those situations I still wouldn't call it criticism. I would still absolutely call it, I still stand on the truth. I still stand on the truth, and I don't back down from. But I told you, you came to me and you asked me for the advice. I gave you the advice. You didn't follow those things, and now you back in front of me asking me about the same thing. Um, in those ways, I kind of feel like that. Would you call that criticism? Is that criticism? If Say if you done went down a lesson with somebody more than 3 times over, and then they still end up in that situation, and now they back in front of you and they talking about it again, is that criticism because you remind them about the 3 times before that they came back to you, and now they still in the situation again, and then you remind them about the 3 situations that they've been through previously? Is that criticism, or is that still standing on the truth? I actually ran one of them for 8 weeks last year on my channel. Oh, okay, then. Well, I have to be looking for that. I was supposed to do another one this month, but decided to do it after my birthday month in February. Okay, then. I'm gonna be checking for it, Gamma. Let me know. Even if you have to come in to one of, if you in one of my lives or something, and I see it, let me know. Let me know if you do it. I would. I love I love discussions or whatever, especially when I'm in the right headspace or whatever. But like I said, if you're in a situation where you done been over a situation with someone over and over again, and then you remind them of all the time, because and the only reason I ask that question, because that's something that I do. I do that with everybody who I hold personal conversations with and everything. If we've been talking for years and years and years, my mind automatically goes back to before, when I've had conversations with you before. And if we've had conversations along these lines and it sounds similar to what you have in this place, I don't view that as criticism, but I do remind them, okay, you went through this back here. You said this person did that to you back there. You're still doing the same thing that you did before. Is that just the truth, or is that criticism? Even you're not do I'm not doing it as like a negative thing or no nothing. I'm just reminding them that you're still repeating the same cycle over again. So, I don't know. I had a lot. When I tell you, just, and let me tell you something. After this man said that part of the video, when this man said this part of the video, I turned the video off. I turned the video off because I was like, I say, I don't want to know nothing else for right now, because this got me stuck right here. This got me stuck right here. And when I tell you, I tossed and turned last night thinking about it, because so many thoughts was running through my mind. Then I woke up today, still on my mind. Um, it's just it was stuck. So, and I think it wasn't a bad thing. I just think that I needed to go down the lines of things that I possibly need to work on. Hey, TT. Tashana, I feel hurt when I come to your chat and you don't speak to me. I don't. Are you serious, Gamma? Oh, you putting up a scenario. I'm like, I speak to everybody. Oh my goodness. I'm finna say what? Tashana, I feel hurt when I come to your chat and you don't speak to me. If you could be sure to speak to me, that would make me feel appreciated for coming into your chat. Can you do that? Now, in that situation, I do try to do that, but I also think about what happens when you start to grow and then you start to get thousands of people, because you know Gamma eventually we gon' that's where we headed at in the future, right? We headed to a thousands of people being in our chat. I just believe that for us. I really do. So when we get to 1,000 people, it'll take a whole lot for us to be able to speak to every single person in there, you know. But your A1 day ones, you know, you be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? You know, you find them in the chat or whatever. But I could I follow through with that? Or can I just say that I heard you? I would have to be more like, I hear you out. I'll try to, but if it doesn't happen, then charge it to my head, not my heart. That's what I would have to say about that. It's standing on truth. Unfortunately, people hate the truth. I have lost people who I consider best friends because of my honesty. And I hate that people will come at you but expect you to take it easy on them. Yeah, and TT, the same thing that you saying, that's what I feel like. I feel like, and then when I'm saying it to you, I'm not saying it to you in no rude way or no nothing, but I'm reminding you. You said this last week. You said this a month ago. And you said it a month ago before then. I can remember 4 or 5 times that you said that you told me the same story. It's just a different scenario. And you still going through that same thing. So that's telling me that you're not changing anything. If you make a statement like that, some people view that as criticism. I don't necessarily see it as criticism, because when I'm saying it to them, I'm not saying it like in no mean spirit or no nothing like that. But I am reminding you. You've told me this story before, 50 times, and I heard you before, and now I have to give it back to you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't necessarily see it, but I definitely have times, and that's why I was like, I didn't understand why it hit me so hard. But no, I do have times, and I bring up the situation with the liar is because in that situation, the lies kept going on and on and on so much till I got to a point where I was like, well, I remember when this hoe did this right here and this right here. That's now I done turned critical. I'm criticizing for sure, for sure, for sure. So right off rip, I already knew that was like, and I don't know unless like I get another prick from God that's saying, in this situation right here, you need to not do this right here. But also in some of my situations where I feel like I criticize, I be feeling like I'm responsible for, and not like responsible, but you real people, you they real folks or whatever. It's like you don't want to. It's just like you feel responsible for telling them the truth. But then we all have to realize, like, you can tell them, but you don't have to keep telling them over and over again, because really you ain't responsible for anybody in that way except for yourself. If that makes sense, what I said. You see how I asked by just telling you how I feel and just put it on the table how I feel, and allows you to say if you can do it or not. I didn't have to judge you or blame you. Okay. Yeah. But you know, I wish I did grow up with that kind of conversation, you know. For a lot of things, even the way that I talk to people and stuff like that, none of this ain't never exist in like our family. Conversations and stuff that I have with my kids and stuff, I ain't never seen none of the stuff like the way I communicate in none of my family ever in a day. Like, by gosh, you couldn't even go and tell your parents that something bad happened to you. It just didn't happen. You go over there and sit down and you shut up, you know. So, and even with me saying that, I almost feel like I criticize myself for saying something like that. And I absolutely know the way that I move that I'm breaking generational curses off of my family. I don't care how nobody see it, slice it or dice it. But who's criticizing me about that? Not anybody out in the real world, I don't guess, but me. I'm criticizing myself. Well, maybe you shouldn't have said that because then people might take it this way or that way. No, but I absolutely know there are some things that haven't been introduced to our family that makes perfect sense. We should have conversations about this. We should have conversations about that. And I start to criticize myself for putting those things out on the table. So criticism can come in 500 different ways. No, but for the issue right now, what would be your answer to me? Yes or no? Okay, you answer for right now. No, but for the issue right now, what would be your answer to me? Yes or no? Um, right now my answer would be yes. My answer would be yes. I can speak to you whenever you come through. That would be a true statement because I try and speak to every single person that comes in. I try and speak to everybody except for people like that right now. Uh, that come in, you know, to the room. So yes, my answer to that would be yes for right now. The average family didn't communicate that way. We are evolving. Yeah, like you can't talk about you can't talk about anything, and so even inside of my family, when you talk about stuff, people feel like you criticizing them about things because you talk about it, you know, and that ain't what everybody's used to doing. Is you feel offended about something. You won't say it in front of nobody, but we can get behind closed doors and we could talk about each other every day, all day. But see, that's just not how I work. If I got an issue with one of my family members or something like that, I don't have no problems with going to tell them. Probably now I wouldn't because I'm not talking to a whole lot of my family and stuff right now. So probably any and everything that I would say to them, it comes off as if I'm criticizing them, even though they know. Like the same way I have conversations on here with you all and everything, I have conversations and stuff like that with with my family and stuff like that. But you know, it always comes off as like when you know you grew up in the hood, but then there's sometimes, and it comes with age too, is that you can no longer act like you hood everywhere you go because that don't work in every situation. You have to switch up something, and then you get the thing of she thinks she better than everybody. Absolutely not. I don't think I'm better than everybody, but they're just situations where you can't. This right here does not work in this situation. You have to switch up some things. You can't. Yeah, you and see it would be solved just like that. Well, I'm gonna be thinking about. I'm gonna think about that. Gamma. I think one of these days when you got an open panel or something over there, I have to come over there so like we can talk like face to face. I wish I was on my what you call it thing because you know me and you can get in the whole conversation, you know, without no problem and just bounce off of it. But um yeah, it's again, this can go a whole bunch of different ways. Using simple statements can settle a lot of things. At times it's not the issue, but how the issue is presented. Yeah. And then you just have some people, they just don't want to hear no truth. They can know that they did absolutely all of those things or whatever, and don't want to hear it, and then they take it as criticism, and it's not criticism because you're not bringing it to them in a negative way, but that's the way they perceive it. But I can tell you one thing, I got my eyes open now, and so I'm gonna be paying attention to whether I'm criticizing someone or I'm telling them the truth. So hey Shakira, I'm doing good tonight. How about yourself? We over here talking about that question that I presented last night, um about criticizing someone. So I don't there are several reasons why this thing came up to me, um about the criticism, because the one reason that it was so big to me, I ain't gonna discuss that with y'all because that's a little bit more personal. But I feel like this certain person uh comes, and there's a lot of make believe issues or whatever like that, and it's very irritating to me when I know um it's not really real. And just sometimes I feel like I have to I have to call somebody or say something to somebody about how irritating it is to me. And then we talking about criticism. That's another form of criticism. You don't necessarily have to be talking to the person. You can be criticizing them behind their back. Not that I can't say it to this person or whatever, but it's like, how many times do I have to tell you the same thing over and over again, and you're still doing it? And in those ways, like, I be feeling like I'm responsible for them, and in all actuality, who's putting that mandate on me that I'm responsible for that person? Nobody but me. So I just need to be like a boundary where like, maybe don't pay attention to any of this person's stuff or the things that they do. um I don't know. And I almost feel like I seen like the title of what his title said. I was just clicking on the video just to see what he was saying. And I didn't know that criticism was finna jump out and jump all over me. And obviously, if it jumped all over me the way that it did, there is something in that area that I need to learn, because it jumped all over me the way that it jumped all over me. So am I willing to get the lesson? Absolutely I am. I'm just, when you start something new, you're going, when you first start going to when you go to the first, let's just say when you go to kindergarten, you don't know what you're hi Kenyon. When you first go to kindergarten, you don't know what to expect in kindergarten, and it's kind of like you antsy inside, right? When you first go there, if any of us can remember. It don't even have to be kindergarten. We can even talk about it being in college. If you go to work if you go to work a new job for the first day, it's kind of like an antsy thing. So we can go with like working a job. When you first go to the job, everything is like antsy. You don't know what to expect. So I'm walking in this, and for me, this is a new classroom. This is a new classroom to run into that right there. But the way that it jumped on me and took a grasp on me that I ain't been able to get it out of my mind from the time that I heard it, I know that it is something for me. You know, it's like that bell be ringing in your ear and like you can't get rid of it. um, so I know it's something for me, but like this is like my second day of class, and so I don't know what all is going to come my way and um whatever I'm going to learn. But I do want to learn. I do want to learn. I do want to learn how, instead of criticizing people for the mistakes that they made, um, turn it into love, because that's what I would have wanted for me. You know what I'm saying? I got criticized a lot. And oh my God, why am I getting emotional? I got criticized a lot. So I know what it's like to be criticized about everything. So that's not what I want to do to somebody else. So I'm going to show up to class. No matter which way it happens, I'm going to show up to class. I'll say that. Anytime, let's do it. Okay, Gamma. Def if you want to tomorrow, we could do it. I'm not against keep on speaking on this, because I think if we were talking about it as instead of you having to type in the chat, I feel like there's a lot of things like we can bounce off of each other, because it's kind of hard like to have this conversation um having to type, because this is, I feel like this is a lot. Like we need to set up a stream yard or something like that to do it. Definitely when you have a person that doesn't want to hear it, then it'll be hard to communicate with that person. If you have practice adding criticism, then don't expect the person to jump on. Yep. And now I can say to you, that's something I don't think people expect criticism from me. Now you might get a different thing from my kids, because if I tell them the same thing over and over again, I'm definitely gonna be like, I'm gonna remind them, and I ain't gonna necessarily, and I won't even say it's like a negative thing. I'm gonna still be reminding them like okay, you said you weren't gonna do it this way this time, and you weren't gonna do it this way this time, and you've done it over and over and over and over again. I don't necessarily know if that's like, I remind people, but it's like I feel like if I'm doing it negative, then I feel like I would be adding like extra words, like calling them stupid and stuff like that. And I've made a great practice. Can I say 100%? Probably let it come out of my mouth probably 2 or 3 times using the word stupid with any of my kids. I really like to pride myself on not ever calling my kids stupid. I have 14 kids that I raised, and I can say probably the word stupid came out of my mouth. Not literally calling one of them stupid. Now, an action that they did or something, I was like, that's a stupid action. That's a stupid thing to do right there. But calling my kids stupid is something like I really strive for myself not to do. I didn't allow my kids to call each other stupid. And for the most part, with my kids, they can all remember. They never remember their mama cussing. For the most part. Now, when life got to life, and later on, when mostly all the kids, like my kids that's here right now, they can be like, whenever I say a cuss word or something, now my kids be like, mom. And my son that's in his 20s, anytime he hear me say a cuss word, he'll be like, mom, stop cussing, don't say no cuss word. It's like, it's almost like having the sex talk with them, or whatever. So yeah, they don't be wanting to hear that right now. Continue bored, because if it's new to the relationship you have with that person, then you both have to be open to communicate that way. Okay. The nurturing program I teach actually works best when the entire family participate. It teaches children young one all the way to the parents and grandparents. Okay. Tashana, you willing to learn? That's the first step. Yeah, I feel like I'm willing to learn unless somebody like trying to force something upon me to learn. But as soon as like I feel that is like, okay, I'm gonna show up to class, and I don't necessarily know now that I seen it. It had. Let me read to you the title of the thing that I was reading, and I actually put it in the comments of the last video when I first started talking about it. The title of this video was Six Habits You Must Quit to Hear God's Voice Clearly. Now I read that title and just my curiosity wanted to go and see, you know what it was about. And now that the word criticizing jumped on me, I don't even feel like it's about. Could it be another extension of you being able to hear God's voice clearly? Um, what I'm saying is I don't feel like that's the reason why it is. I just feel like for me, the getting in the class of criticism is what I ran into this video for. If it is another thing that I could learn that helped me get my ears cleaned out a little bit more and be able to hear um God more clear, then I'm all for it. I'm just saying I don't know if that's actually the reason why I ran into that. Um growing up growing up I was criticized by my mother, and when the Bible is thrown in to justify her nice nasty words towards me. Ooh, that is another one, Shakira, and we talked about that. We talked about that the other night. You know, that being thrown at you. Yeah, you definitely can be criticized. I call that being whooped with the Bible, because you know a lot of us have been um done that way, um with different things, and used to make you be submissive to their bad behaviors. Um, you get told, you know, your days are gonna be shortened if you don't do this, but then you get to walk away free with all that you doing. You just get to get off scot free with that. You know, when they left off the other part of it. Hey Albert, how you doing tonight? Shakira, I wish you could participate in the nurturing program I offer as well. I would love to participate. Yeah, Gamma. We have to speak about that. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow when I come on. If it be, and I'm gonna say it like this: if it be in my spirit tomorrow to come on and do the StreamYard tomorrow, um, that's good. That's good, Albert. Um, to do this unless something else come up, you know, another conversation comes up that I feel like I'm gonna have. We probably get on StreamYard and we talk a little bit more about this, because when I tell you, like, I'm saying to you, like, this subject jumped on me. You know, just think about, you know, your niece cat, Gamma. I feel like this word jumped on me and grabbed onto me like the cat, like it got its claws in me. That's how, and it's like, yeah, this word criticizing jumped all over me like that. It got its claws inside of me. So it's like I don't know how I'm gonna get it up off me, but I'm definitely I'm willing to learn. Um and now like it's there. I already know how this is about to go though, because I know when I get into a lesson or whatever, it's like I can be talking, and the minute that I start to criticize, the word is going to be ringing in my ear. That's how class kind of shows up for me. Like the parts where I don't recognize that I do it, it's gonna be like it's ringing in my ear. Um, Now I can tell you too another way that I can criticize. If you ask your kids to go and do something, and they don't do it the way that you would do it, I can admit that I'll be the kind of parent is like, because they don't do it the way that I would do it. I I have been that person before where I criticize. But what I started doing is, and I talked to y'all about this before. Instead of criticizing them, because I also learned that when you criticize your kids about the way that they do things because they don't do them the same way that you do it, it's a different way that you can go about doing. They're not going to do it the same way you are, because they're not as wise, they're not as old as you are, and they don't understand um, the significance about behind cleaning and stuff like that, right? So what I did in turn is, say if it's one of the kids' nights to clean up the kitchen or whatever, right? I let them go and clean up their kitchen. Now, if they leave a dish up there and I still see food on the dish or whatever, I'll be like, hey, you gotta come back and you gotta wash this over or whatever like that, right? Um and then I do show them like you have to move stuff or whatever. But what I did, because I also feel like this is helping me out, but also at the same time it's like you ain't teaching the kids nothing if you go in and do it at all. I let them go and do it, and I just don't say anything really unless like I see a dish that got food on it and I know you had to see all of that food still left on that dish or whatever. I just wait till they go to bed at nighttime, and then I come behind them, and even though it is at 2 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that, I just come behind them and I pull the stuff out and I wipe behind all of the counters and stuff. And even though I have to get the dustpan, it be stuff they don't waste on the counter all day. They ain't move nothing or whatever, and sweep behind that. Then after I do that, then when I take a shower at nighttime, I go in the shower, and the shower, if the shower walls or something in there dirty or whatever, then I'm in there in where I'm supposed to be in there taking a shower. I'm not actually in there taking a shower. The first half an hour that I'm in there scrubbing down walls and everything. Instead of saying to them, "Wait a minute, you have did this or whatever," then I just do it, because, and not only because I don't want them to know, it's just I know what it feels like when you criticized the way that I grew up being criticized. So it's like also try to take into consideration you don't want to do the same things to your kids that made you um feel some type of way or whatever. So, you know, it's so many conversations that you're getting. I didn't think that this conversation was gonna be that big, but it's so many ways that the criticism can become out. Um, yes, still to this day, I feel guilty and anxiety about certain things I was told as a child. Yep, same thing for me. We covered the spices of life: spiritual, physical, intellectual, creativity, emotion, social needs in life. The spices. Honey, you gonna have to tell me about that again, because I can't write all of that down. Wait a minute. Oh, that's what they make screenshots for. Okay, Gamma. I got it. I was gonna say you gonna have. Well, I did say you gonna have to say that again. Now I got a screenshot of what you just said. Like the cat. Yeah, like the cat. Now I'm telling you, this word criticism jumped on me like that right there. It got me. It got me. I'm in class and like I feel like I'm in class and it got padlocks on the door or whatever. And I ain't really trying to get out of it, but that's how I feel like this word jumped all over the top of me. So I know that it may be a lot more than I think that I need um when it comes down to this word, because I'm the more and more y'all say stuff or whatever, I'm just finding out there's so many different, it's so many different ways. Seeing now that I'm sitting here and now we don't talking about the kids and stuff like that. I think about even me coming on and telling about things that happened with my mom. And I'm just going down the lines of things, but then I'm sitting and I'm thinking about it and I don't feel like I criticize my mom. That's another thing of where I feel like um I tell the truth. But then maybe there is a lesson in it. Um, I don't know. But I feel like I haven't criticized. So I feel like I've told the truth that I was never able to tell before, or to work it out or whatever. But who knows what I'm gonna find out, because I ain't opened up the textbook. We just had the introduction to the classroom by the cat jumping on my back and digging his claws in with that word criticism. I don't know what I'm gonna learn while we here in this big old class. I'm in this big classroom that I've jumped in, but I'm willing to learn. And if I find out later on that it is criticism, what I'm giving, I've already, it's out there now, and it is what it is. But in this moment, as I'm speaking about it now, I still don't feel like I criticize her. I ain't telling just to be telling somebody about what she did. There's hurt, there's trauma and everything on the inside of me. And as I'm telling you, my mind is just going down the list, trying to figure out, like, have I been criticizing people? Um, yeah. I'm just going down some list, just thinking about all kinds of situations. Yeah. The word criticism is big. It literally could break someone. Yeah, I imagine. Hey, her territory. Thank you so much. How you doing tonight? Coffee. How are you? Hello, hello. Hey, Shauna B. We done got all into it. And basically, what we just talked about is I could just go back in. I could just go back into it a little bit. Then y'all can go back and see like the different ways that we talked about it. But I ran into a video yesterday. And I think actually Shakira, right before Shakira asked me yesterday, I think I was out in the garden. And Shakira's like, you act like you got something on your mind or whatever, but she was actually hearing my neighbor next door talking out loud. And she was like, you act like you got something on your mind. And actually, right before I had went live on that, this video had happened. And it hadn't dawned on me right then in the moment when you said that, but I'm out in the garden. But this was on my mind already. It had already jumped on me and grabbed onto my skin, and it was there. But I watched the video. Um, oh, that's so sweet. Her territory. It just may happen one of these days. You never know. I think you're gonna learn a lot. I came to hear how you feel during your class and after. I hopefully I'm gonna keep on writing notes, because I'm telling you, I started to write down some stuff because I felt like it was coming. But this what happened. This what y'all missed in the beginning. Um the conversation was basically about this. I ran into a video yesterday and I actually asked some questions about what y'all think about what's the difference between criticizing and telling someone the truth. I couldn't really get a whole bunch of it in or whatever to figure out before then, but then I start to get it by just reading people's comments and stuff. And still, if you ain't able to put it in here, go back to yesterday's video. After this, it's only like a 8 or 9 minute video, might be 11 minutes. Go back to that video yesterday, listen to it, and put up under there what you can get out of it, or see what other people wrote in the chat. But yesterday morning, I watched a video that I was actually laying down in my bed, and this thing made me jump up out of the bed and everything because I just couldn't. That's how the cat had done jumped on me and scratched me. Ain't that something? Cat criticism. The criticism jumped on me watching this video, and it's called 6 Habits You Must Quit to Hear God's Voice Clearly. So I listened to the video, and I mean, nothing was that interesting to me anyways. It was actually, the video was starting to get very boring to me. Now, y'all might go over and listen to it, and and I'm going to put it in the description of this video too, the same way I put it in the description of yesterday's video. The video was kind of boring to me, and some kind of way it got up to the 4 minute 6 second mark. And the word criticism jumped on me like Gamma's niece cat. And it would not turn me loose. So my mind just went down a whole bunch of things. So the first question I had, well, what's the difference between criticizing and telling someone the truth? Because I was like, how is this word for me right here? How is that? And so I started going over a whole bunch of things, just like thinking about the word criticism. Yeah, I just had a bunch of questions. One of the questions I asked myself was, which ways does criticism come? That's a let me tell y'all something. If any of y'all that are willing to take notes or whatever like that, I'm here to learn. Like, not what you think I want to hear. I just want to hear what you would say from your perspective. If you could write it down or write it in the comments after this video is over with or whatever. So I'm gonna ask this one question. I'm gonna just read to y'all the questions that I wrote down myself, just asking myself, just thinking through this process. Which ways does criticism come? Does it come as if I'm coming for others, or does it come as if I'm coming for myself? When do I criticize others? If I give a warning that's not heard, and then they don't accept the warning and they still go and do that thing, if I tell them the truth, is that criticizing them for telling them the truth? But then a lot of it has to do with no, I ain't telling that part no more. Right there, y'all got to go back in the video to hear about that part. But I'm just reading to y'all. And I'll read to you the definition that I came up with. Then I already said that if anybody else had another definition for it, to criticize means to indicate the faults of someone or something in a disapproving way. So that's what we talked about in here tonight. And God knows, I wish I would have did this through StreamYard, because I feel like this would have been a great conversation, like, for all of us, because I would like to hear from like everybody's perspective. I'm a talking ass person. You know what I mean? I really am. If I get somebody online, we could go back talking back and forth forever and a day. I'm a talker. I feel like this conversation, and because I want to learn, and right now it's just like this, like my first day of class. It jumped on. I enrolled in class yesterday, so today was my first day of class, and so like once I get into something just like the garden, it's like something inside me is just like turning, turning, turning. Like I've had to wait for a week to go out into my garden and do something in the garden because of the weather. Um, how bad it was. It been raining, some areas snowing here in Florida, and all kinds of places, all kinds of things. So, um, in that same way, I'm excited to get back out and do things into my garden. I'm excited about learning new things in this situation right here. Blessings to you too. Um, it's the attitude you approach with, maybe, in my opinion. Now I believe that too, Coffee, because we talked a little bit. We talked a little bit about that because I seen somebody had wrote in the comments from yesterday that it's the negativity that you bring with that, which also sparked something else in me. Um, so yeah, you know, but like I said, if tomorrow I'm still feeling this the way that I feel it, then we'll be on StreamYard tomorrow where we got to set up where we can because I don't know how to put out a I don't know how you can bring somebody up um doing it this way. Anybody know? I don't know how I can bring somebody up on the page or whatever with it like this right here. All I know is about is my StreamYard. So but I love the conversation or whatever like that. But like I said, anybody got anything, they get anything tonight after we get off this here live, let me know. Write it down for you, girl, and give it to me. Put it in the comments up under here, and then we'll get back to this conversation. I have to see. I also have to go back to the ones that wrote in the comments from yesterday's video, and let me see what they said and see what else I can get out of the comments that I seen over there. But you all, this is the part where I'm gonna say that this is Life with Tashana, where life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. And this is also over here, the high class gardeners, where we always make sure that we growing something out in the garden. And as we grow stuff in the garden, we make sure we growing along with us. And look at that. See how we growing again tonight. Tonight we done planted criticism in the garden. Are we plucking criticism out of the garden? Which one? We don't want to grow criticism, do we? We don't want to grow that. That's like the weeds that we plucking out of the garden, right? We plucking the criticism out of the garden. Yeah, we gonna name that as weeds. That's like the things that we have to pull out of there, because we don't want to grow. We don't want to grow criticism, but over here we the high class gardeners, and that just means that we don't mess around with snakes, bugs, worms, and frogs. And the people who show up in our life, that's like, you know, in the form of those things. Um, and if you want to be a high class gardener, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button and, hit the like button if you like what you're hearing. But I'm also here to encourage people to grow your own food all the time. Grow the food that you get from out of the grocery store. You ain't got to go nowhere and buy no seeds. Grow the stuff you get from out of the grocery store. And if you ain't sure about the stuff you get over there in the fresh vegetable section or whatever, just ask somebody. If any of it got a seed in it, get you a paper towel, honey, and out of everything you eat. If you got a cucumber from over there, flick 10 of those seeds out of that cucumber onto the paper towel and let it stick to the paper towel. If you got a tomato, get 10 of the tomato seeds and stick it to the paper towel. Same paper towel. Let it dry. Put it in a row. You get a squash from out of that section. Flick 10 of the seeds out of the squash onto that same paper towel. Put it in a row. If you get a zucchini, everything that got a seed in it, save it on a paper towel. It can be your garden paper towel. When it dries out, you can go and plant it out. You don't even have to wait to dry it out. You actually can go and flick it on the ground outside, and you can grow something with it. Not y'all ones that got snow on the ground right now. You got to wait for the springtime to come in or whatever. But you can be saving up your seeds right now to start to grow those things if you like. If you like. Gamma, let me tell you something. What I had a thought the other day. I can't even say it was a dream, but I was sitting outside and I was doing something. And let me tell you something. I saw you, not necessarily you planting something, but I saw you gave that to your grandkids as a project for them to grow a plant. I really saw that. I'm telling you, sitting to the table, just visually, I saw that you had your grandkids planting something. And I just smiled because I already know I'm being contagious anyway. I'm being contagious in that way. So I know that's gonna happen. And I'm gonna be excited when it do happen. Yes, I am. It would have had to start the living by selecting go live together. Oh, so you have to do that from the beginning. I don't know how to do it. Well, ants disrupt the growing process. In my opinion, I ain't never ran into an ant that doesn't stop me from growing anything. Let me tell you what I will do though. If I see ants start to build their bed, like where my stuff is growing at, I'll go and get the shovel and I'll find some more ants in another pile, and then I'll dump that on top of the other ant pile, and they cancel each other out. It turns into like a war. I know that sounds so mean, but you can't come here and settle on my land. Kind of like that. But no, the ants because they don't eat the food that's, and I don't even know how that works, because it do feel like if you growing food out in your yard, like the ants would eat it. But that's not a problem I ever ran. That's not a problem that I ever ran into. I promise you on everything. I showed y'all a video of my strawberries out there growing, and you would think that if I got strawberries growing out there and ants are everywhere out in the yard or whatever, wouldn't you think they would be eating your strawberries or something like that? But long as they grow, now you pick the strawberries and let them sit outside somewhere. The ants gonna be all over them. But if it's growing on the plant or whatever, they don't get on any of that stuff. I grow pineapples for days. Never have ants on them. Yeah, when your food is growing, like ants are not your problem. Now worm, big worm will take out all of your stuff. Big worm will get you now. But ants are not a problem. At least what the ants will be a problem to is yourself. You mess around and stick your hand in them and they will eat you up. Yeah, growing with the babies. Yeah, I know, and all I could think about is, when my kids was going through elementary and stuff like that, every year it was like clockwork. Everybody coming home with that lima bean plant bouncing all over the place while they coming down the street, and how excited they are about that plant. And just for them to be able to grow something, and they used to bring them home, and the little cocktail cups, the little plastic cocktail cups that they have like at Dollar Tree or whatever like that right there, and get you one little bag of soil or whatever. And before you know it, the kids will be wanting to grow stuff. Then when the roots fill up the thing, you just move it to the next size, to help them grow or whatever. But like, kids get really excited about that type of stuff. And then let me tell you something. You don't necessarily have to want to do it, but if you want to instill it into your kids, let them start something right there. And they'll be reminding you every day that they need to go out there. We need to go out there and tend to whatever, even when you ain't thinking about it. The kids will remind you because they're excited about what they're going to grow. And let them get a fruit or something that come on it. They try it. And then I'm just saying it to you that if you're going to the grocery store and you're already getting these things, in order for you to do it, you don't have to spend anything extra. Just take the seeds out of the things you know, you already buying from the store, and put the seed on a little paper, let it sit there into, you know, um, the springtime. And you don't actually have to wait till springtime. You can put it in your window, a window that's the sun is shining through. And then when your springtime comes in, especially for you ones that it's snowing, when the springtime comes, you can transfer it to the outside. You can use 5 gallon buckets. You can use grow bags. You can use all kinds of things. You know, it don't have to be no whole fancy setup or no nothing. Um, you know, it's doable. Yeah, Gamma, yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's the reason why I haven't tried fear of ants will eat it. Nope, you don't even have to worry about that. Hey, Miss Parker, how you doing tonight? Wow, good to know. I'm going to try an avocado tree. Now you gonna that avocado tree gonna take you a little. It gonna take you it gonna take you some time to get some fruit from that. But you get avocados from the store. There's a you just sticking toothpicks in the 4 toothpicks in the side of it, you know, kind of where it looks like a cross type of situation. You're just poking it in there a little bit, and you let the part that has the little opening part hang sit down, and it has to be touching water, and it will start to sprout down in there. You can let it sit in your window and just watch it, and after a while you'll see that root starting to sprout down into that water, and then the top will start to come on it. And then, you know, you can transplant it outside and go. But I think a avocado tree takes some time. Now, I used to have an avocado tree before we moved over here, and we did not get an air layer off of it or anything. And I can't even tell you. I done tried to regrow an avocado tree over here, and let me tell you, I don't even eat avocados, but my husband eat them. He'll eat them every day, him and my daughter. And every time a seed done been thrown, because let me tell you something about an avocado seed. You can throw it down on the ground and it'll take root if you leave it down on the ground in the right place. Guarantee. Scratch the part where I told you to put it in your window. You ain't even got to do that. Eat the avocado seed. Like if you get the bag of avocados, when the springtime comes, just let the seed sit up there and dry, just like you do after you done ate it. Just let it sit there. Or you can sit it in some water, a little bit of water, and let it do what it do. I'm telling you. But all you gotta do, let the seed sit up there and dry. When the springtime comes, just go out there and throw it in the yard. But wherever you throw it at, throw it where you want it to grow. Cause I'm gonna tell you what happened. We done threw the avocado seeds out there, and we could have done had about 10 trees now. An avocado tree does not like to be moved once it starts growing. Does not. I done tried it 500 times. Done started growing, but you also don't want it to be growing into your house or up under your house. So that's why I'm saying to you, be careful of where you throw it at. Put it in an area where you don't mind a tree growing at, because it doesn't like to be moved. And what we had to do, because it's been so close to the house, you have to dig it up and try and move it somewhere else. And every time we've done that, it done we done had them where it done had the leaves on them and everything, growing pretty and everything, but it's in the wrong spot, and it grows a long tap root on it. And if you break that root, then it doesn't like that to be done. So I'm just saying, It don't take no whole bunch of work for you to grow an avocado tree. You get a bag of those Haas avocados or whatever. Just take them and throw them out there in the yard somewhere, and you ain't gotta do nothing to them. Just don't put them out there in the snow. Um, yeah, I got in my on my community wall. I got a picture of where we used to have avocados, and not the small avocados. We used to have the big, huge avocados. Have them by like 6, 7 baskets of them. And I just used to go around and sell some of them and give a lot to my friend. I got a friend that used to give me tons and tons of stuff. Sometimes fill up my driveway with just like, here you go, Tashana. And sometimes I wouldn't even be home and she'd be done dump bags and bags of stuff on my driveway or whatever, brand new stuff, used stuff. I mean, all kinds of stuff. You don't even know, like, going through that. She's just like, go through it and get what you want out of there. And then we used to give it to the people to send back to they, people be looking for stuff, easy stuff like that to send to their families and stuff over in Haiti and stuff like that right there. And everything. I used to give the stuff away to like people like that once my kids went through it and seen what they want. All kinds of stuff. When she give to me like that, and I have stuff like that she was a Mexican lady. When I have stuff like that I know she like, it wouldn't be nothing for me to go over there and take a laundry basket full of avocados and fill up both sides of her sink with it. She was like, how much I owe you? Nothing. And I literally got to run up out of the house, so then she ain't trying to give me no money or nothing like that for it. But yeah, definitely had the avocados, and now we got mangoes galore, just the same way we had the avocados. So we left that tree behind. I ain't get no we ain't get no air layer off of it. So my poor kids always ask me to go back to the garden. We go to visit in the summer. They don't understand how it's too cold right now to grow 20 degrees. Why I told you, Gamma, you got go in the window. Let them grow some lettuce. But the lettuce ain't got no seed, But before, when the last part of it coming, like a month before, you can actually start growing stuff in the window and stuff like that on the inside. In choose an area that has a lot of sunlight that come through your window. You can definitely start it. Like a month before, there's gonna be no more snow, and the temperature's about to warm up. So you ain't gotta wait until you can put it outside. You can start it on the inside, and if you start it in the little cocktail cups, you graduate from the cocktail cup to the solo cup. Give it a little bit more growing room. You just fill the solo cup halfway. As you get there, you will figure it out. It's gonna be good. But the most important thing is, grow some. Y'all getting the seeds already. They coming free in the food that y'all already buy. So why not go on and flick it out there on the ground? I ain't telling you to do much of anything, but I'm telling you the excitement that you will feel is you be like, it actually worked. It actually worked. See, Shauna B came on here the other day and she was like, Shauna, my cabbage from the store is growing, girl. So I'm telling you, this stuff actually works. If y'all seen one of my video where you can see my cabbage that I cut up off of the thing is out there and it's growing, the cabbage is like it's growing right back. No problem. So that'll be two less cabbages that I gotta go to the store and buy. So y'all try it too, and then tell me later on how it worked out for y'all. But that is going to be where I ended it. Make sure y'all growing and growing some food, and you grow along with the food that you're growing. May God bless you all for to have a great night's sleep. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Sure did. I'm so happy about my cabbage. I know that's right, Shauna. That's gonna be one less cabbage you gotta get from the store. One less cabbage. And guess what? When that one, while that one growing, if you want the cabbages up off of it, go out there and cut it off of there, and just leave the cabbage in the thing in the ground, and just let it keep on growing. You can take your cabbage leaves on the inside and then do what you do with it. You ain't even got to uproot it to, take it up from off of the catch. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. And don't forget, whatever comments you got about criticism, don't forget to write it down, put it in the comments or whatever. And if we come back tomorrow talking about the same thing, then don't forget to put your input in. I'll talk to y'all later.